Yo, what up? We back with another edition of RPT, Real Prison Talk with Wes. And today, well, tonight, it's late. I just got off work. That's why I still got my dirty work clothes on. Haven't even jumped in the shower yet. I'm gonna get this video out before I do that. Um, Today I want to talk about two different type of prison living: cell life versus dorm life. Cells versus the dorms. For those that don't know what that means, when you when you go to prison, there's two different ways they can house you. They could put you in the dorm where there's like a bed in the middle of a big open space. There's like 90 beds, and you guys all just sleep there. There's usually a day room somewhere in the area you can walk off to, and that's the dorm life. You guys get wrecked. You could go outside, whatever they call it, but you basically a lot of guys just hang out by their bed. The beds is just like 90 beds in a big open space. A lot of dudes prefer that. Um, I don't really know which one I prefer. I hate prison altogether. But that's really the lower level prisons. The higher level, more dangerous inmates and dangerous crimes, they put them in this state, they have two-man cells. In Connecticut, they put you in a two-man cell. Um, if you're lucky, you might get a single man cell, or if you crazy enough to go through everything you got to go through to get to a single man cell. But that's just you being a cell. I've done a lot of cell um, bids because I was affiliated. I was gang affiliated as soon as I came in. So gang members don't go to dorm in population. They go to what's called the gang block, and it's all cells. You're locked in the cell 23 hours. Um, it gets spooky in both places, to be honest with you. But I think the cells probably get a little more dangerous. Um, a lot of those inmates that's in the cells are dudes that's maximum security, super maximum security. A lot of the scary stories that I've witnessed was even in the maximum or the super maximums. You know what I mean? A lot of the more funny stories that I've witnessed were in the lower level jails, like the dorms and the mediums. The mentality of the inmate is different. It's a lot of the dudes in the maximums. A lot of them dudes is guys from the super maxes whose level just dropped. So it's just the same group of people from the supermax that's in the maximums, and they probably carry knives, swords, shanks. That's how cell that's cell guns. We call knives guns in jail. In the cells, they carry knives and shanks, whereas in the dorms, they carry like socks with locks in it and shit like that. You might get bust upside your head with a sock with a lock in it. But in them cells, shit, for anything. I remember one time this dude Biggs blew the power, and this kid Los called him in a vent so that the whole tier could hear, and told him, "Bro, did you blow my power again?" I guess this was like the second or third time blowing the power this week, which is a big thing in jail. I should probably do a video on that, blowing the power in jail, because you get your power blown. It ain't even got to be you. It could be the guy in the cell next to you trying to smoke or do something that he need fire, and he's messing with the electricity. He blows the power. Now y'all gotta wait for a lieutenant to come by and cut it back on. Sometimes it may take a couple days. You might not be watching TV or have no electricity in your cell for a few days. Can be a little stressful. So I could understand the frustration from the dude Los when he called the kid Biggs in the vent and told him, "Listen, you blow the power again, bro. When they pop us out for wreck, I'm gonna stick you, and I'm gonna keep sticking you until they pull me off you, bro. And the kid Biggs was a big dude too, but he knew Los was another lifer that he meant what he said. He talked his way out of that one, and never blew the power again. He started smoking in somebody else's cell. But I guess I'd probably rather the dorms. But if I had to take my choice, it's probably easier in the dorms. I'd rather get busted upside my head with a lock than stabbed by this kid. Los had a sword. Like, he was calling this nigga, calling it a shank. The blade was probably like the size of my hand. Like, he pulled that joint out like a knife, big old knife. He don't sharpen this metal down, and he had 120 years. So what did he have to lose? A lot of them guys in them dorms be trying to go home. Those be having 18 months, 3 years. Dudes ain't trying to kill nobody in them dorms. Perfect example. We was up in the max. And it's just crazy because I'm just thinking about how he told him that. Like, the threats is even different in the maxes in themselves. Like, to tell someone, I'm gonna stick you and keep sticking you is a lot more, it sounds a lot more dangerous than I'm gonna hit you with this sock with this lock and I'm gonna keep hitting you with it. I mean, to me, there's no comparison, but back to what I was about to say. Me and the homie Leak, we was up in the maximum securities, and big dude, his level had got raised because he got affiliated. Now that's one way to get your level raised. If you come in there non-affiliated and you get affiliated as a gang member, your level's getting raised. Fours and fives is what you will be. You got to fight to get it back down to a level 3 to get to them dorms. Unfortunate soul got affiliated. His level was raised, and he was just coming out of the gang block, but he still had the dorm mentality, you know what I mean? Whereas Leak, this kid been down maybe 20 something years already. He had a lifer mentality. So a lot of people looked at Leak like a weirdo because he was a little, like the homie used to come out with a book, sit in the day room, read his book, didn't really interact with too many people. Like, the only reason me and him got cool is because I'm kind of weird too. I used to come out every once in a while. I used to bring my Scrabble board bottle, and the homie liked to play Scrabble. Me and him start playing Scrabble together. I ain't really do the poker. I used to play chess and Scrabble, and then he used to play chess and Scrabble, and that's how we got cool. And I started finding out that he had the guns. Like, he was like, "Yo, shit go down. I got we call knives guns." He's like, "Yo, I got the knives, bro." He used to make knives, and a lot of people that he put on, like, he used to sell some, probably thought that's what he was just doing, but I knew he was kind of loco. I knew the kid was kind of crazy, and I knew when it came down to it, he was going to use it. And sure enough, he got the opportunity to show somebody that he wasn't bullshitting. Big dude level got raised. He came up from the dorms, went to the gang block, finished the program, came down. He's happy because he's fresh out of the gang block where it's 23-hour lockdown all day. So now he get to where we at now, and you get, it's like 21-hour lockdown. Now you get like 3 hours out. So get an hour and a half in the day, and then another hour and a half at night. So the day recs be like 8 o'clock in the morning though. So he happy. It's 8 o'clock in the morning though. He explaining to his homies whatever war stories he was explaining, but it was right outside the homie Leak's cell. And I think I told this story before. The homie came out respectfully and was like, "Yo, could y'all keep it down?" Like, dude was like, "Yo, dudes be having they comebacks. Like, yo, if you want to go to sleep, don't come to jail." And one thing led to another. The dude got gangster with him and told him, "Listen, you see these knuckles? These is for breaking teeth." And that was all he needed to say to Leak. Leak was hurt enough. He was like, "All right, no problem." Went back in his cell. I already knew what type of time he was on. This dummy from the dorms, he thinking he just won that. Hey, all his friends laughing and whatnot. Leak went in there, gripped up, put his shoes on, grabbed his knife. Dude went up in his cell. Leak went up in that cell behind the dude. He waited for the dude to go in his cell. Now, a lot of times before they call recall, they'll pop the cells like 5, 10 minutes early so that people that's in the cell come out, get water, and dudes that's about to lock up could run in their cell, grab whatever they need in case they need water, whatever. So when they did that, Leak seen a dude go in his cell. He went up in the cell behind him. I already knew what time it was. I'm like, we about to get locked down. I'm gonna go take a shower. So I'm not gonna be able to take a shower for the next 3, 4 days. I already had my stuff up there. I ran, jumped in the shower. But I can see, I got a bird's eye view from the shower inside this dude's cell. So I could see the movement going on in there. And the dude was big and strong, and Leak was little and skinny. So I guess he probably thought he was winning, not knowing this kid was stabbing him. Until finally, when he did notice, and it was too late, all he could do was grab Leak in the headlock and drag him out to the bubble where the COs be at, basically telling, drag him in front of and all out in the day in front of everybody. They like, let him go. He like, he got a knife. And then you hear a big clang. The homie dropped the knife. This nigga's skin still on the knife. And that was probably a harsh lesson for him. You gotta be careful. It gets spooky coming from them dorms with that dorm life. Maybe he had his lock in his sock in his cell, but he stabbed that man so many times he couldn't even get to it, you know? And I never seen either one of them again, you know? Mm, hopefully the guy is alive though. It was a pool of blood from his cell all the way to where he dragged the homie to before he finally passed out. And they airlifted his ass the fuck up out of there. But like I said, it gets spooky in both because I've been in a dorm and I've seen somebody get bust upside their head with a lock in they sleep, you know, which is the worst way to get hit. So it gets spooky in both sides, you know. Um, I'm gonna end this on that note. Again, be on the lookout for my book, How to Survive Prison. Coming out should be the end of this month or the beginning of the next month. It should be out on Amazon. And I got some other projects I'm working on. Until then, peace.